right, welcome to First and Filoni. My name is Donovan Filoni, and as always, my co-host Andrew Cooper. How's it going, Andrew?
What's up, dude?
Not much, man. First and foremost, you went to a game. We had boots on the ground, so go ahead, give us a recap of boots on the ground of the first game of the season, NC State versus ECU. Pretty electrifying game, man.
Yeah, it was. You always gotta love a good in-state rivalry, especially when ECU comes to town, because they play in the AAC, and a lot of people don't give them credit, but you can actually see what your team is made of early versus playing, a Mickey Mouse school or a lower tier college school. So it was good to see that. Crowd was amazing as always. Drank one too many beers, but that's fine. Uh, but yeah, man. Other than that, hard to beat a good ACC game, especially in, a place that you grew up going and seeing all the upgrades and seeing all the money from the donors finally being put to use and just having a good time with family and friends, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, CJ Bailey looked good from when I watched too, and
Yeah, I'll tell you who
looks like
really
you
looked
got a
good.
bright future.
Yeah, CJ looked good. Wesley Grimes played a hell of a game. The freshman Teddy Hoffman had a good game. It was good to finally see him run the ball a little bit more instead of focusing on passing. But we can get the defense tied up a little bit more, I think, against Virginia this week, and CJ and the offensive coordinator can keep the pressure on and keep the foot on the gas. I think it'll be a halfway decent year, but we'll knock on wood.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into quarter one here. We got our week one recap and news. We had a few great games and a few upsets and a few statements made by players and teams and coaches. But let's go ahead and start off with the good here, right? What teams or players came out on top this weekend and why?
I mean, it's pretty obvious on one, Florida State.
Yep.
It's as much as you either want to say Alabama's not that good or Florida State is really that good. Uh, I thought that was a good one. Let's see, who was the other one?
Yeah, what do you think of that? I mean, Florida State, yeah, I think it's a mixed bag. I think they're a hungry Florida State team from last year.
Yeah.
Castellanos only completed 9 passes, but man, he stood on business with all the trash talking that he had. And that defense, I mean, if anything, Florida State's defense is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it's you can't take nothing away from them. I don't really like how they go unranked to 15 because they knocked off Alabama. Like I said,
Yeah,
we've always had question marks, with Alabama, especially with Ty Simpson and
it's been there forever.
it's yeah, but I mean we can get into that later in the show. But
Yeah.
like I said, it's a mixed bag. You don't know if Florida State is actually that good or Alabama is that bad.
Well, I mean, I think it kind of leads into one of my, uh, players and teams and whatever that came out on top is the ACC conference in general. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought they were the worst of the Power Four going into the season. Like, no
Yeah.
team really, besides Clemson, kind of uh, had expectations for, and I'm not sure I have them anymore for Clemson. But I mean, Miami looked good. Um, NC State won, Duke won, Wake Forest won by 1 point, but they won. Georgia Tech handled business even with 3 turnovers in the first quarter. FSU won, like we talked about. SMU won, and then boy, Cal and that freshman quarterback, he was he. You called me and told me, asked me if I was watching that game, and I was like, no, and saw the highlights, and man, that kid can sling the ball. So, um, I mean, I think ACC it kind of comes out on top, as well. The only other one that I had that came out on top is, man, my team Utah in the Big 12. Y'all sleeping on my boy Dampier. I mean, he's dominating already in the Power Four. He was 21 for 25 for 206 yards, 2 touchdowns, then rushed for another 87 yards and a touchdown. And that was in a blowout win. Like, I mean, if he does that, is he the Michael Vick that we loved in at Virginia Tech in the early 2000s? I mean, I don't know, maybe. I'm not going to go there yet, but he keeps putting on performances like that. It's going to be tough to get me off of that ledge there. So, okay, so
Yeah.
now for the bad. Which loss was worse? Bama versus Florida State, Notre Dame versus Miami, Baylor versus Auburn, or any of the other ones? And then what do you think will be like the biggest impact from that? Um,
I
Do you
mean,
want me?
really, dude. I mean, you can talk about, the Clemson stumble. You can talk about, the Baylor, the Auburn, but to me, it still goes back to Bama
Interesting. Okay.
because, you can say, all right, yeah, Clemson, but realistically, man, LSU's got a pretty tough freaking defense.
Well, they do now. They haven't under Brian
Yeah.
Kelly, but this year they might. But is that
Yeah.
is that because Clemson couldn't run the ball?
Yeah, I feel like,
They lost a lot with Maffa and Will Shipley gone.
yeah, I mean, obviously they want and they try to establish a run just like every other team. But I mean, you can't have Klubnik throwing 30, 40 plus times a game neither.
No,
I
I don't
mean,
think so.
you got to build up on a run game. So I mean, to me, it's the Bama loss more than anything.
So in Bama's last 10 games, do you know their record?
I know they've got 3 to 4 losses.
Five losses. They're 5-5 in
Yeah.
their last 10. Um, I don't think Bama is the biggest loss of the weekend. I think because Bama was so dominant for 15 years under Saban, 20 years under Saban, that we think that he is. I don't know if DeBoer is the answer. I don't know if he's an SEC coach. I know he's a great coach. I'm not sure he's an SEC coach, but I don't think that was the worst loss. Like I said earlier, I think it was a tough Florida State um, place to be in, especially after a horrible year that they had last year. I think the worst loss is Baylor. Um, Baylor had a ton of hype this offseason, right? With Sawyer Robinson talking about the defense is one of the better defenses they've had. The receivers are good. They're so fast on offense, on defense. But Auburn just made him look silly. Auburn, I'm not sure Auburn's great. I'm not a big fan of Jackson Arnold, and he ran all over them. I mean, Baylor's not going to be good if they cannot stop the run. And in Big 12, I mean, my boy Dampier in Utah, they like to run the ball, right? Like if they can't stop that, Jalen Daniels in Kansas, he's another mobile quarterback, right? Like, Mike Gundy just he's going to run the ball. Rich Rodriguez is going to run the ball. Like Kansas State's going to run the ball. If they can't stop the run, Baylor might be out of it already. And I'm almost tempted to say that, man. Like I just think Baylor is. I can see why everybody's saying Alabama. I'm just not there yet because I'm a DeBoer fan. But Ty Simpson is not the answer either. Because that first drive they looked great, and then Florida State just swamped them afterwards. So, I mean, more to come. I think it's way too early, but that's why we're going to go into quarter two here. Um, for way too early reactions, right? So typically, the first few weeks of college football can be blown out of proportion. Everybody's saying this way, that way. I mean, week one, we're guilty of it as well. We're not a wait and see podcast, right? We're guilty on the overreactions. So give me your top overreaction from week one going forward. What is your boldest statement? I got three of them. So
Well,
if you don't have a good
I
one,
got
I
a
can I
few.
can get you fired up here real quick.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to refrain on I think where you're trying to go with it. Um, to me, boldest statement. uh, I think Notre Dame turns it around and
Yeah, I
they
don't think
get.
that was a bad loss.
I don't think it was a bad loss neither. Freshman quarterback. I mean,
Jeremiah Love only ran the ball 8 times. Like, what are you doing,
yeah,
offensive coordinator? You have the best running back in football.
yeah. Miami, come on now.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
And you said disappointments.
No, just boldest statement. Like, what do you give me a bold statement? NC State gonna win the ACC.
Nah, but I will say this: if TCU keeps playing like they played the other night, you better watch
Yeah,
out.
that kid Dwyer from Idaho State, 9 catches. The dude was torching UNC. Okay, so here are my bold statements. First one here. And you can rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. Just I want to get your reactions from this. Off the cuff, you haven't heard these yet. Mississippi State is going to upset at least two high performing teams this season, at least two, if not more. They have a tough
That's
schedule,
it.
but they have a stud offensive line, a two-headed running back monster, and a third one that they put down on third downs. Fluff Bothwell, remember that name, Mississippi State running back, Fluff Bothwell, and then an offensive coach that looked like he was they looked apart in the second half of their game, right? They struggled a little bit at first, and then they I thought they were going to score 50 in the second half, the way they were playing. So Blake Shapen and the boys down there, Fluff Bothwell, just watch out for Mississippi State, and that might be foreshadowing for some of our picks later. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how bold is that? I can get better.
And I would say that's a good six.
Okay, we'll go one better. All right. USF will be the G5 representative in the college football playoff. This is the team that was supposed to be that showed up last year. Like this is what everybody thought USF was going to do. They're fast on the outside. They got a young coach in Alec Golish that is, I mean, seemingly the right coach. And Byron Brown, that quarterback, he is nasty. He's got a cannon of an arm. He runs the RPO. He's not afraid to get hit. He actually seeks out contact on the quarterback sneaks. So watch out for USF. I know I picked JMU, and I'm still going to ride with JMU until they prove me wrong. But USF will be the G5 representative.
I'm gonna have to go with a four on that.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, they beat the brakes off of Boise State. They made Madison
I'm
look.
not, hey, I'm definitely not saying that they are, but you got to remember Boise State lost a lot of their offense last year with Ashton Genty.
They did. They did. Okay, last one here, and you're gonna get sick of me saying this name by week 3 here, or week 2 here. Dampier will be in New York for the Heisman after an undefeated Utah team. I think I'm going to sprinkle some on him for Heisman here on the bets. I mean, if he can be that efficient and lead Utah to an undefeated season or a one-loss season, why not, right? Name one other player that kind of jumped off the page for you in the Heisman race, right? Klubnik did not have a good game. Nussmeier did not have a good game. Beck had a decent game. Aller, I mean, he played Nevada. Who cares? Like, there. Can you name another good performing player for the Heisman? I mean, the Cal quarterback. I'm not going to even try to say his name, but
No, I mean, I wouldn't really hate too much on Nussmeier's game. I mean, Clemson's defense is not that bad to me.
no, I'm not saying they're bad, but he's supposed to be, the one of the top quarterback prospects going in next year. And I don't see it. I didn't see it last year. I don't see it this year.
But here's the way I look at it. It was game one. You playing a
Yeah.
really good team in a very hostile environment. Um, so I mean, really and truly, I mean, if I had to pick a quarterback to go against Dan Pierre right now, it would be Nussmeier.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think I hope the West Coast bias doesn't hurt Napier, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's go ahead and go into quarter 3 here. Superlatives. We're going back to what we had in the last couple of years, popular segment. Each week we'll give out a few superlatives like winners of the week, losers of the week, game of the week, player of the week, and then we'll also have like one rotating depending on the week or kind of like a rotating cast. So we'll go back to the originals. We'll start off with winners of the week. Um, for me, I think ACC fans is the biggest winner of the week. I mean, I said it before, like their whole conference showed up. Even Clemson in their loss showed up. I think they had a really, really good outing outside of the UNC blowout here. But I also think TCU is not a bad team. Everybody's forgetting about them right now. And then my second winner of the week is the state of Florida. I mean, the state of Florida is back, right? Winners from University of Florida, winners from Florida State, winner USF, UCF, and Miami all won this weekend. And this is the first time since 2006 that Florida and Florida State and Miami are all in the top 15. I think at least two of those five teams that I mentioned before will be in the playoffs this season. Um, I mean, that's kind of a bold statement in itself, but I mean, if the boys in Florida or the teams in Florida are recruiting the boys in Florida, they're not going to Alabama's anymore because Saban's gone. And, I don't know if Kelly's recruiting them, they might be going to Ohio State, but if they can keep even just half of what they were losing, I mean, the state of Florida is going to be back. So those are my winners of the week.
Yeah, winners of the week for me. I only had one, and you kind of touched on it, only because they got so disrespected last year. It's got to be the ACC,
Yeah.
minus what happened to Carolina, and I think it was a one more team that lost, but no, unlike Virginia Tech. But I mean,
But I
Virginia
didn't
Tech,
think Virginia Tech played bad.
no, they did not play bad. I mean, that was a very tough South Carolina team they played, and that was an SEC opponent. But to me, it's got to be the Atlantic Coast Conference, right? I mean, look how bad Kirk and the guys,
Yeah,
dogged them last year.
we did.
This is not the same ACC that. Now, for granted, some of the teams didn't play high caliber teams, but the teams
Sure.
that did play, if you actually watch some of them and you're actually seeing, either the new coaches or you're seeing the players come in. I mean,
Yeah. No, I mean we were down on them. I mean, I was down on them. I know for a fact this year, and last year we were even down on them too. So let's go ahead and move into losers of the week. Same rules applies. Can be players, team coaches, fans, anything. My biggest loser of the week, I only got one really, and that's Bill Belichick and Bill Belichick's fans. Not necessarily Bill Belichick himself, but Bill Belichick fans. It's the realization that it's going to take more than one offseason to change a program. That's going to shock them, right? And the reason is you can't cheat. Can't cheat anymore, Bill. It's already been done. You've done it in New England. You can't cheat down here. I still think they'll win 7 or 8 games this year just because of their schedule. But I think their playoff hopes are done for the season. Look for them to maybe do better next year, but I know that makes you happy that they're not going to make it this year at least.
yeah, it's hard to say anything positive about that school because you know my hatred for it. And I'm not trying to stick up for nobody by no means when I make this comment. But this is where me and you kind of butt heads a little bit with the transfer portal. You can't have 70 new freaking guys come in and expect
Yeah,
to win
I agree.
12 games and go undefeated. That showed the other night.
And mind you, he didn't have a spring practice either. So he didn't have a
Exa
spring practice.
yeah,
He
it
only
didn't have
had
a
one
spring, but I
transfer
mean, look at
portal.
look at NC State last year or the year before with Brennan Armstrong when they brought in all them freaking transfers trying to play the portal. We sucked.
Well, we weren't high on Armstrong. We knew what he was.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, I was just touching on that a little bit. I still hate UNC, so I'm glad they got their butts kicked. It was great to see. Love seeing Michael Jordan and Lawrence Taylor and Randy Moss and all them
Yeah,
out there and all the
Mia Hamm.
balloons. Oh yeah, geez, get over yourselves.
All right, let's move on
Um,
to game of the week here. Mine's simple. You touched on it earlier. It was a South Carolina Virginia Tech game. I thought Virginia Tech played really well under Pry. I thought Drones had it a little bit when it came down to crunch time, he didn't. But like, let's be honest, there was a Beamer ball touchdown, like a punt return touchdown. Frank was in there. Hokies were wearing the orange, South Carolina wearing the blacks. Sellers looked great for some plays and uninspiring in others. Like I thought it was the epitome of what college football games should be. I thought that was a great game.
are you doing games?
Yeah, game of the week.
Game of the week.
I mean, you can say the one you went to because that was a pretty dang good game too.
Yeah, but I don't want to be biased because then everybody's gonna be like, I don't want to listen to these guys. All he cares about is NC State. Um, but I am going to do it only because of what happened last year, what transpired in the bowl game with
Yeah,
ECU and State. Um, I was very proud of them, man. They came out and I mean, the defense looked great for somebody who you'd
offense looked
never,
great, defense looked great, and then they wanted to lose it. They tried to
yeah.
lose it.
Well, it's typical NC State. You get off to a fast start and then you just start coasting. Then you get into the red zone and you can't get points. And you got a true freshman kicker, missed two field goals.
Kyle
I can
Van
go on.
Boy.
Yeah, he's back. I could go on and on, but to me, I thought that was, in my opinion, the team of the week that I was very
Yeah,
impressed on because they didn't have a spring game either. So we didn't know what we were going to get with, a new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator.
yeah.
So you can tell that the kids are really buying in, I guess you could say, to what is going on the team that they have. There's a whole lot more chemistry, and hopefully they can keep it going for the next week.
All right, let's move into players of the week. I mean, you already know who my player of the week is. Do I even need to say it?
I'm sure it's Dan Pierre.
Dan Pierre, man. I'm not going to repeat anything, but man, just keep an eye out on him. I'm going to keep saying his name until he gets the recognition he deserves.
I'm going to go with another one, and I'm sure Olivia's probably gonna be pissed for me for saying this, and you're probably gonna laugh too. But how about my boy KC Concepcion in his first game at
I
freaking
mean,
Texas A&M?
we all knew he was nasty, and
Oh yeah, But I mean, he had an 80-yard punt return two before I
Yeah.
went to bed. I never did look at the stat. 80-yard punt return for a touchdown. He had two receiving passes over 30, 35 yards for touchdowns
And
before I
that's
finally
with
went to bed.
Marcel Reed, who I mean, I like him, but I don't know
Yeah.
if he's a good thrower of the ball. So Texas A&M sneaky good this year too.
Yeah, so I got to go with old KC in that one.
Oh, Mike Elko and the boys. I thought you were going to say your boy from Cal, that quarterback. We can't say his
Nah.
name. For those of you who don't know, just go look up the depth chart in Cal. He has a Hawaiian or Samoan last name, and I don't want to even try to butcher it. Like he's just phenomenal. The kid's he's gonna get a nickname, and we'll be good going forward. All right, and last one here, player to watch going forward. I have three players. I'll let you go ahead and go for it first here.
Yeah, I've got three myself. Arch Manning.
Okay, yeah, I don't. So hold, we got to talk about this too. He's getting a bad rep. I don't think Sarkisian opened up the playbook because they were playing Ohio State, and Ohio State's defense is going to be the best in the country again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. Like I said, a 14-7 game. You can say what you want about Arch, this, that, and the other, but
He's going to be good,
yeah, just give him some time, man. I mean, for God's sakes, it's only his second year. He didn't even start last year, so
and try being your first away start at Ohio
that's
State,
true. Yeah.
right? And Caruso's
So I
last
got
game, big noon
yeah.
kickoff. Like, come on,
So Arch Manning, who was the other one? Had it. Dang on it. Well, this is
come.
the other one. I do want to say this one because you probably gonna hate it too, but Nico, how is he going to respond to getting his butt whipped?
You go from Tennessee where Joey
Yeah.
Aguilar lit it up against Syracuse, like
Yeah, so I mean,
lit it up.
how are you going to respond to the critics now? You know what I mean?
You can't because Joey Aguilar had a better game against an average opponent than Nico ever did against an average opponent. Like I don't think Syracuse is bad, but they're not good. And
I
he
mean,
Aguilar was amazing. And like I
yeah,
don't think he's that good, but Heupel, that 70-yard pass that he had, man, that looked
yeah.
pretty as can be.
And my third player, I want to. Uh, it's not more or less not a player, but keep an eye on LSU's defense. If they can stay
Yeah,
healthy, if they can stay healthy,
Harold Perkins is back.
yeah, if they can stay healthy and the offense can score, you better watch out.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I think LSU's defense has improved, but I still worry about Clemson's offense with not a number one running back. Like they've always had a good run. Anytime they were good, they've always had a good running back. CJ Spiller, right? You got Shipley, you got Maffa, you got uh, just they always had a ETN. Like you always had a good running back when they were good, right? So they didn't this time, and they don't this year, and I just don't know. The players to watch, it's going to be three matchups or two matchups in a player. First is just the player, Jeremiah Love. He only had 8 carries versus Miami. If Notre Dame wants to win, he needs more. I think the offensive coordinator needs to give him the ball more. CJ Carr, I think, did well for a freshman quarterback, kind of fell into his zone, but they need Love to, as they want to win anything. Give me Brown versus the University of Florida's defense. I mean, he looked dominant against Boise's defense, and Boise's defense isn't bad, but they're not an SEC defense, and especially not in the swamp. So give me that. Look, that might be fun to watch to see if the Florida's defense can actually hold up like they did last year, if not be better. And then seeing how he can do as well. Because if he does well against this Florida defense, I mean, USF's the G5 representative right there. And then Mateer versus Underwood this weekend. Both are playing the toughest defenses they've ever played. Mateer, playing uh, last year at Washington State, never really faced a Michigan style defense. And then, Underwood, who was a senior in high school last year, never playing a Brent Venables Oklahoma defense at Oklahoma. Can they make it over the hump, or is it going to be a defensive struggle? I kind of want to see. Mateer threw for 400 yards last year. Underwood, or last week, Underwood played really well. And he might be a guy too. Watch out for Michigan. If he pans out and just has keeps playing like he's playing, watch out for them. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the game picks. Last week, oof, we did not do well. Um, Last week we had the gambling locks did not do well. I think we went 3-10. We're both tied at 9-7 here for the lead. Excuse me, 9-6. Excuse me, we're both tied at 9-6 uh, for the season. Locks are 7-7. We got 10 games coming up here. Um, we'll go ahead and just get started right away here. Let's go. USF versus Florida. Florida's favored by 17 and a half points, but I want to feature more highly rated G5 teams, and this is the best game that one of them's going to play. That or Louisville versus JMU, but um, I'm going Florida here. I think Florida wins. I think they rested their starters a lot last week. I think their defense shows up. I think it's going to be closer than the 17 points, though.
Yeah, I mean, not taking anything away from USF from last week and beating Boise State. But anytime a team like that, after a big win, kind of with, who was it? Marshall, was it Marshall? No, NIU and Notre Dame last year. They
Hmm.
kind of fell down off the rocks. I'm not saying USF will, but you're playing in SEC territory and you're playing at the Swamp, and Florida has a lot of talent, so I'm gonna take Florida on this one.
Yeah. Next game might be sneaky game of the weekend. Illinois versus Duke. Mensa versus Altmaier, right?
Hmm.
Illinois is favored by 2.5. They're going to Duke in North Carolina. I'm going with Altmaier and the boys. I think Duke struggled with Elon early, and that concerns me. I like Mensa. I think he's a decent quarterback. I like Manny Diaz down there for the defense, but I think this would be, like a 24-14 type game. Illinois wins.
Yeah, I think Illinois' defense is going to show up. Um, don't be surprised if Duke does win,
No, I wouldn't
but
be.
yeah, don't yeah, quote me anyhow. Don't be surprised if Duke does not win, but I got to go with Illinois in this, especially with the defense.
Next game here is Baylor at SMU. SMU is favored by 2.5 points. Not a bit like I just can't get over that loss. I think Jennings, mobile quarterback, they just played Jackson Arnold, mobile quarterback. I think SMU's going to win big.
Yeah, I'm going SMU.
Next one of my favorite rivalry games of the year, and they always do it early. Iowa versus Iowa State. Iowa State's favored by 3.5. Gronowski, who is a FCS Heisman winner, did not look good last week, but I think he gets it turned around. Give me Iowa Hawkeyes. And I know I said it wouldn't go against Rocco Beck, but I'm going to, so give me Iowa.
Give me Rocco Beck and the boys. They're at Iowa State.
Ugh, that one's going to be, ugh, I regret it already, but I can't go back on it. UVA at NC State. NC State's only favored by 2.5 points. Um, can UVA pull up the slight upset?
You already know who I'm picking in this. It's going to be 90 plus degrees, 12 o'clock noon kickoff. Probably not going to be as crowded as normal. Everybody is back, I believe, next week. No injuries. Noah Rogers got hurt, but he's cleared to play. I'm gonna stick with the boys, man. I think the boys, if they win this one, they got something special brewing down there in Raleigh.
Yeah, I'm going NC State as well. When it comes down to it, who has the better quarterback? CJ Bailey showed me something last week. He showed me good, he showed me bad, but there was more good than bad. So I'm gonna go with NC State. I just I don't know what they're doing at UVA, but we'll see. I mean, maybe they're doing something good. I don't know. Ole Miss at Kentucky. Ole Miss is favored by 9.5 points. They put ass whipping on Georgia State last week with the freshman lefty quarterback Austin Simmons. I think that continues because Kentucky struggled with Toledo. Give me Ole Miss here.
Yeah, I'm going with Kiffin and the boys.
Kansas at Missouri. Missouri favored by 6.5 points. This might be a sneaky good game too. I expect it to be extremely high scoring. Bo Prabula And who's the other quarterback that Missouri has? They got two quarterbacks that are pretty good. The one I guess it was their backup from last year. Um, and then versus Daniels at Kansas. If Daniels at Kansas is healthy, as this would be a fun game to watch. Watch for a ton of points. Watch for a ton of quarterback runs. This is the epitome of college football. I'm going to go lean Missouri just because it's at Missouri. But I mean, I would not be surprised if this one was the upset.
Yeah, didn't Mizzou lose their starting quarterback?
Did Tribula get hurt?
I believe so. Their quarterback or somebody pretty big got hurt last week. If I read that right on the screen on ESPN.
Um,
Because I picked Kansas because I'm pretty sure somebody, I forgot who it was, but somebody was injured.
Let me see. Oh, Sam Horn out indefinitely. So that was the other guy that was so Pabula, the one from Penn State that transferred in. Him and Sam Horn were running a two quarterback game last week. So Sam Horn's out, Pabula's in.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with Jalen
All
Daniels.
right. Um, Arizona State at Mississippi State. Going Starfall. Arizona State favored by 6.5 points. Remember what I said earlier? They're going to upset two teams that are going to be pretty good this year. I think this is one of them. I think that Jeff Levy's got the boys riding high. Fluff Bothwell, Fluff Bothwell, running back. Fluff Bothwell, and Booth, the other running back. Watch out for them to get another four touchdown game between them. Fluff Bothwell, number 24. Booth, I think he's number two or number no, he's number eight. Blake Shaping's too. Um, I'm giving going Mississippi State here.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me, only because it's in Starkville. Like Jeff Levy, I'm gonna go with Arizona State because of the experience with the coaching.
Mm, Dillingham. All right. I wouldn't. I mean, that's probably the win, but I gotta be bold here too. Michigan at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's favored by 4.5 points. Mateer versus Underwood. This is what I was talking about earlier. Um, I actually think this is gonna be a very high scoring game. I think both quarterbacks are gonna have success. But I think Oklahoma comes out on top just because they're the home team, and Michigan can't cheat. So, but I'm going Oklahoma.
Yeah, I got OU.
Next game, Vandy versus Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's favored by 1.5 points. Did Virginia Tech show you enough last week versus South Carolina to get the upset against Vanderbilt? And are we going to have
Defense,
another classic game like we did last year?
defense, yes. Offense was good. But gosh, dog, man, how can you go against Diego Pavia?
You're going Vandy?
I don't know, man. What time's the game? I know it's at Tech.
Um, 1 second.
First home game of the year for Tech too.
Enter Sandman's going to be going. It's a 7:30 game.
Mm,
I'm going Virginia Tech. I mean, I was wary on it before. Now I saw it's a night game. I'm going Tech. I think they showed me enough. That wide receiver, the number 0, I think he's a stud. The defense did enough. I mean, Sellers is better than Pavia. But Pavia can win it. That's what worries me. But I don't think Vanderbilt's going to have as good as win a season as they had last year. Um, I think this. I think Virginia Tech wins this.
yeah, give me Tech because I mean it's a night game.
And then final game, Stanford at BYU. BYU's favored by 17 and a half, 18 and a half. I mean, the answer is BYU. We had to put one more game on there. There wasn't really another good one.
Yeah, I definitely have BYU in this one.
All right, cool. So we got differences in a couple of these games. Difference in the Iowa State. And then Missouri, Kansas, and Mississippi State, Arizona State. So one of us is going to come out on top this weekend. All right, I got 10 gambling picks for you. Started off hot in week 0, cooled down. I ended up breaking even or getting a little bit of money last week with all the other bets that I bet placed, but we're going to try to do a little bit better this week. First one, just let me know as I run through them if any of them jump off the page at you. JMU versus Louisville Friday night. Louisville's favored by 14 and a half points. I think JMU covers. Watch out for the upset alert. Northern Illinois versus Maryland. Maryland's favored by 17 and a half points. Another upset alert. Give me Northern Illinois plus 17 and a half. Maction helped me out so much last week with all the covers. Um, and you'll see a lot of action actually this week. Illinois versus Duke. Duke's or yeah, Duke's favored by 2.5. I don't know why I said Illinois favored by 2.5. Duke or no, hold on, hold on. Who's favored? Illinois is favored by 2.5. I think they win by more than that. Give me Illinois minus 2.5. Um, Michigan versus Oklahoma. Give me over. Donnie Overs is back. Give me over 45 and a half points. I think this ends up being a shootout here. Um, FIU versus Penn State. Give me the over 54 and a half points. I know Penn State is notorious of not covering. They didn't cover last week in the 44 cover, and it's like 48 this week. I think FIU gets 1 or 2 touchdowns to cover and get the over 54 and a half points. Iowa versus Iowa State, notoriously an under game. It's 41 and a half. Give me over 41 and a half points. I think we got better offenses than they've had in a while. Ole Miss versus Kentucky. Ole Miss is favored by 9.5 points. They showed me so much last week versus Georgia State, and I think Toledo gave Kentucky a run for their money. Kentucky's defense is pretty good, but I think Ole Miss wins by more than 10 points. So give me Ole Miss minus 9.5. Missouri versus Kansas, another shootout. Give me over 51 and a half points. I mean, I think it's going to be a classic ESPN game, 35 to 42 or something like that. West Virginia, Rich Rodman boy is going to play another match in school, Parker Navarro in Ohio. Um, West Virginia did not look great to start, but they ended up winning. I think Rich Rod's team is back. Give me over 60 and a half points. That is a very, very high over under, but I think they do it. And I think Ohio's offense, Parker Navarro, is just as good. And then finally, Arizona State at Mississippi State. Give me Mississippi State plus 6.5.
I don't like it.
All right.
I don't
Well,
bet.
well, that's it for us this week. Thank you again, everybody, for listening and sharing. As always, if you have any questions or anything you want us to talk about, shoot us a DM on Instagram. It's probably going to be the best way to get to it, or TikTok. And if not, we will see you next week.